Hey everyone, Eat Horsey, Get Fit Methods. Today I'm going to tackle one of those trending things that's been talked about quite a bit, which is volume eating, which means eating more, losing more. So if those who don't know what that looks like, I'm going to try to explain to you best as possible about what it looks like, how to approach it. Again, don't pay attention to less is more, get fit fast. This is more by training than anything else. But today is going to be volume eating. So volume eating means that you are consuming more, which is more nutrient dense foods. So visually it's more, also it is more, opposed to eating less with less dense or less volume food or nutrient dense food. So for instance, oh, by the way, before I get to this, I appreciate everyone would like and share, subscribe to our channel. We'll be tackling a lot of these things for my 40 plus foes. So get right into it. So say for instance, you have 300 calories. So 300 calories here, and say that looks like this, right? Opposed to another 300 calories, looks like this. So in other words, say you can have candy or something like that, or something that's not as good for you, still be 300 calories, or you can have something that looks more like this, which is 300 calories. I think most of the time, most people prefer to have a bigger portion because that's the way we are here in the United States. Most people eat more. When you go to restaurants, they give you a lot of rice, a lot of this, and a lot of times probably too much. But I think most people prefer to have this piece of the pie opposed to that piece of the pie, which is the equal amount of calories. And if you do it correctly, you'll also have more protein in this meal. And you also have probably fewer fats, but healthy fats, and then carbohydrates. Now, that is one portion of how the volume eating works. Makes perfect sense, I hope, and it's very easy to kind of conceptualize what that means. So to break it down even more, so we do what I call the 1, 2, 3. So it's basically 6 parts. So one part is going to be fats, because fats have the higher amount of calories, that's why it's only one part. 2 part would be protein. Hope I spelled that right. And the 3rd part would be carbs. Yeah, all right. I don't know why I put that twice, but anyway, you get the idea. So total of 6 parts. 2-part protein, 3-part carb. So that's how you break down this whole volume eating too. You can put that into that. Now for those like, well, what is 1 part, 2 part, 3 part? I do meal plans based on this information I got when I first started training through my certification. They did nutrition, and it's broken down for most of the people who are athletes. So that's how my training comes from. But even for people who are older, it still applies. Because I think most people now are getting the idea, and they understand that even as you're getting older, you probably need more protein because it's the building block for muscle, stuff like that, especially if you're training. So the 1 part, say for instance, is 9 calories each gram of fat. I think that is correct. Now the funny thing about the protein and the carbs, they are equal to the amount of calories per gram. So it's 4 and 4. So it's 9 for this, 4 for this, 4 for that. So break that down to your meals. Say for instance, if I'm gonna give someone, do a meal plan, they're gonna eat 1,600 calories. So my thing is depending on the individual, how many calories or how that calorie looks like to them opposed to their eating style. So I break that down. So one part would be fats, one part would be, 2 parts would be protein, 2 parts would be carb. So split that up into 6 parts. And if you're eating, say, 3 meals a day and it's 1,600 calories, I would break that into 3 parts. So 3 into 16, I'm not sure what the actual numbers, but say 4 just for the sake of math. 4 meals, that's 400 calories each meal, right? And that will break down like this. That way you're not getting too many fats. You're getting just the right amount of protein and just the right amount of carbs. Now carbs is kind of tricky only because the carbs could include complex carbs, fibrous carbs. Now generally when I do a meal plan, I tend to lean toward the fibrous carbs like kale, spinach, all those green leafies as a free food. Because they're so low in calories, and if you're already in some of a deficit anyway, because you're trying to lose weight or trim down, it doesn't really matter. But now what does matter are the complex carbs. So those, you want definitely make sure that when you count those macros, that is, say 4 grams to each calorie, 4 calories each gram, you will make sure that you're at least, I would say like 35, something like 40 grams per meal would be sufficient for 4 meals, that is. So those are really only ones to really be concerned with as far as the complex carbs. Rice, and we do what we call the hand measurement too. So the hand measurement is for fats would be a thumb or maybe 2, based on how many calories you're taking in, or macros. For protein, you're doing like the inner palm of your hand, which is like, or some people say fist, but I like the inner palm, and that'd be your hand. So there's no way to screw this up because you're using your hand, not my hand, of course. My hand is bigger, be a bigger portion of protein. Now, if you're trying to increase protein, because it's a leaner protein, it can be, like say fish and all that kind of stuff, then you can go maybe a palm and a half. Again, depends on what your goal is. And then carbs is basically open palm, or if you're doing fibrous carbs, let's say 2 palms, right? Full. That way you got a lot more volume in how much you're eating, opposed to if you're just eating for comfort or stress, then you tend to eat more anyway if you load up on these complex carbs, which spikes your insulin. Most people know when you spike your insulin, you go on that roller coaster ride and you're up and down almost all day long. One thing I will say, and I tell my clients this all the time, and I learned this from one of my diabetic colleagues I worked with back in the day. I would see him eat 3 or 4 times a day, but most of his meals were protein, very little complex carbs, and a huge amount of salad, right? So, and one thing I'll say about that, as far as you get older, you probably could tell if you were younger, if you're paying attention. A lot of times when you're younger, you don't pay attention to these kind of things. But when you eat something, give yourself maybe like a good 20, 30, maybe 40 minutes, something like that. Your food will tell you how it's making you feel. Like if it's good for you or you've overdone it. And what I've noticed is, from myself personally, if I eat too many complex carbs, either too close together or too much at one time, I tend to get a little fatigued, sleepy, stuff like that. So those things you want to watch for. You want to make sure that you are eating the right amount each time. That way, when you do eat it, you're not overdoing it. So that would be the idea for the carbohydrates and how much you eat at one serving. So when you do that, just breaking on down to how do I feel after I eat my meal based on the volume amount, how much I'm eating, and then you kind of you tailor toward that. Now, if like for me doing nutrition plans, stuff like that, I would basically say like measure everything you eat for at least a week. So take note of every little thing you eat, condiments, all that kind of stuff, and count them up. That way you know exactly how much you're eating. That way you know if you're overdoing it, and then you adjust from there. That's kind of the approach. And then you do it enough, then we go into what I call the thermogenic effect. So as you eat cleaner for a longer period of time, you will speed up your metabolism because now your body is quite sure what it's doing. It will help you if you help it. And then you'll notice that your metabolism starts to speed up. You start to look a little leaner, start to feel better. And this is what I call the campfire method. Now, if you're not familiar with the campfire method, it goes like this. The campfire method is if my metabolism, I'm just starting training. So I just started. And I've had a problem with eating for a long time and I'm gaining weight and I'm yo-yo dieting, stuff like that. Your metabolism is probably going to be kind of crushed, really low, especially if you're overweight. Chances are your metabolism has stopped working for you in your benefit. So the campfire method is this. I have a little tiny ember right here, and that's my little bit of fire. That's my metabolism where it is right now. And over here I have my logs of wood, but these are wet. It's like bad, or not say bad, but not the best calories to help my metabolism. Then I have fire over here, right? Which is the same amount, a little bit bigger, but now this wood over here is dry. This is the good stuff over here. So if I keep piling on the good stuff over and over again, this gets bigger, right? Because metabolism starts to burn, so I become like almost an internal furnace. So as this gets bigger, right? The more I eat over here, then talk about having your cake and eat it too. I can take some of these and put it on this big old inferno over here, and it never touch my process of losing weight or getting leaner, because now the fire is burning so high, it's like a bonfire. So now I can put that on there. Say a weekend, I'm going to have a little get together with my friends. If I throw some of that weekend stuff on there, that's not the best, it won't even touch the outcome. And you just do that over and over and over. Now you can have what they call have your cake and eat it too. But it takes time to get to that point. Now, if you're starting somewhere in the middle, then it won't take as long. But if you're starting from way down here like this, it's going to take a while. And for those who circle back around to the volume eating, if you're here and you like the idea of eating more and you're used to eating more, have better quality food, that way you can eat more and visually it's more appealing because I got all this food, but it's still the same amount of calories. Now, I hope that makes sense. I've covered a lot today. I'd like to get your feedback. If you have any input on that or any questions you may have, I'd be glad to kind of address that too. But if you're looking for someone that should help you with your nutrition or even training, I have links in the bio. They can help you go through and see which one appeals to you. We have the Tiny Challenge. We have the intro, which is basically try that for a couple of days, or we have the online training, kind of do-it-yourself, DIY as well. So if any of that appeals to you, great. If not, all good. I'm here to kind of give you information to hopefully get my 40+ people in a better place as you get older, because it gets a little bit more challenging as you get older because your body's constantly changing. I'll be 60 next year. So I'm starting to feel those different changes, and I make my little adjustments here and there. And I've been the same weight for, I don't know, seemed like 10 years or so. And I do have pizza time to time. I still have, dates and treats like that from time to time. And my weight has not really fluctuated that much. The weight that has fluctuated is most